Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Oh, come on. You know I'm going to call you out for a Shabbat Shalom like that. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'd like to start us off with inviting Miss Amy Wolfson up to read us some announcements.
Oh, good. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi. My name is Amy Wolfson, and on behalf of the Bethel Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome you all to our Shabbat worship service. If you're new to the congregation, please introduce yourself to me or Rabbi or our cantorial soloist, Lori Simmons, after our service. Also, please silence your cell phones. And we do have some special events coming up in addition to our weekly programs. So tomorrow, Saturday, December 16th, you're all invited to Kiddush Luncheon following services, and then Torah study will begin at noon. Tomorrow night, Saturday, December 16th, beginning at 5:30 is our adult-only Hanukkah celebration, beginning with Havdalah and followed by dinner and a play. It's not too late to RSVP, but please do that soon if you'd like to attend. And then January 13th, Henry Edwards will be called to Torah, so please join us for his bar mitzvah. And on Sunday, January 21st, Sisterhood is hosting their annual Tu B'Shvat Seder for the congregation. So details can be found in our email newsletters and on the website. And then just some housekeeping when you leave, if you could put your prayer books back in the racks and the programs back in the basket, that would be wonderful. And again, silence your cell phones. And if anybody is willing to sign up to do the live stream, to come in a few minutes early and greet and set up the live stream, I would love personally to show you how to do it. And we do have a Sign Up Genius form that goes out in our Shabbat Shalom email blast. You can sign up. We really need help with that. It's quite a mitzvah, especially for those congregants who just aren't able to come in on Friday nights and Saturday mornings as regularly as they would like. So thank you in advance, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And now to begin our service, I invite you to turn to page 128, 128, for Maya Hayom.
Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Ma'yefeh Hayom. Shabbat, Shalom. Ma'yefeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
And now I invite you to turn to page 120, 120, for the candles, which we will follow immediately with the Kiddush on page 123. And for the honor of the candles, in honor of her mother, Barbara Strausman, I'd like to invite up Hannah Moore.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techilah למקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן.
Thank you for coming up and doing the honor. We turn now to page 138 for L'Chadodi. And L'Chadodi is all about the joy, welcoming Shabbat with joy. And we will do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And at the beginning of verse 9, I invite everyone to turn and welcome the Shabbat bride through the doors of our sanctuary. And then as we finish the verse, feel free to turn back around. So pages 138 and 139, L'Chadodi.
L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. Shemor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi anu Elhem yu echad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 la, L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki makor ha'baracha, merosh mikedem nefsucha, sof maseh b'machshavati la 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 la, L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. Hitori, kiva orech kumi ori, shir da beri, kivod Adonai alayich niga la 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 la, L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. Boi v'shalom aterabala, gam b'cha uv'sohala, tochem b'nei am segula, boi kala, la 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 la, L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'Chadodi, Likrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabala.
And now I invite you to please remain standing in body or spirit as we turn to page 146, 146 for the Baruch Hu. I'll do the first call and then invite all of you to join in the response.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai la 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 la.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam vaed HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam vaed.
You may be seated. We turn to page 148, 148 for Ma'ariv Aravim.
Yadadai, dai 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 dai. Yadadai, dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dadadai dai yadadai. Dai 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 dai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim ma'ariv aravim.
Together in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Baruch atah Adonai Ha'mariv Aravim.
And now we turn to page 150, 150. Please join me in the English. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. And now we turn to page 152, 152, and I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema
You may be seated. We turn to page 154, 154 for the Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. And now we turn to page 159, 159. Please join me in the English. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. And now we return to page 158, 158 for our people's song of redemption, Mi Chamocha.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai lai ya la lai lai lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, norah tehilot osei feleh, norah tehilot osei feleh. Malchutecha ra'u v'anecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Eli anu ve'amru, Eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
And now we turn to page 160, 160 for the Hashkivenu. This prayer, praying that we are able to lie down in peace and build for us, that God helps us build a sukkah shlomecha, a sukkah of peace during Shabbat. I hope, and we'll tie this into the sermon later on about the Torah portion, that we're able to find some Shabbat rest, some Shabbat peace this Shabbat, that God will help us to build a sukkah shlomecha. So Hashkivenu, page 160, 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidinu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidinu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomrinu l'chaim.
And now we turn to page 162, 162, carrying that prayer, that request for a Sukkot Shlomecha into our observance, our remembering of the covenant with God to keep Shabbat. So Vishamru, page 162.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
And now we turn to page 164, 164, for the tefillah portion of our service. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Page 164.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'ma'an Shemo Ba'ava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor L'Olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atarav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechokel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayehim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'givarot, Umido Melach, Melech Maimit Umechayeh, Umatmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atala HaChayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh, Shimcha Kadosh, Ukdoshim B'chol Yom Yahalalucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. We turn to page 175, 175. Please join me at the bottom of the page. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in your longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We turn to page 177. Please join me at the top. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of the soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. And now we turn to page 178, 178 for Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarich et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
And now our thoughts turn to those who are in need of healing, whether it is healing of mind or of body or of spirit. The congregation is thinking of healing for Jim Da'arman, Rebecca Kaufman, Pearl Levin, Ron Rappaport, Carol Friedman, Carol Wallace, David Cohen, Carol Solomon, June Van, Rabbi Michael Matchison, Dennis Montaigne, Sherry Chait, Jerry Chait, Larry Michaelov, Antoinette Worrell, Dennis Greiner, Robert Dawkins, Mary Louise Boyer, Stuart Rosenthal, Cheryl Young, Chaim Yehoshua V'Sardina, Yehudit Bat Naomi V'Raphael, Fran Marcus, Daniel Motz, Howard Silvers, Rose Iglico, Arthur Iglico, Eli Shlomo Ben Lynn Cynthia, Helen Siegel, David Shaknovsky, Helene Ben Bassett, Shoshana Tehila Bat Rochel Yocheved, Carol Kalnitsky, Paige Hedrick, Hattie Kaufman, Bonnie Yales Gibson, Leo Stevenson, Sidney Morris, Sue Chataway, Ronnie Patterson, and Gary Patterson. If there is anyone else that has a name that they would like to share with the community, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. We hold all their names together as a community. I invite you to turn to page 371 for the Mishaberach, our people's prayer for healing.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Limoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all who are ill be surrounded by the love of friends, loving companions, family, and community. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. And now, having prayed for peace and prayed for healing, I invite you to take a few moments for the prayers of your own heart for silent meditation.
Use shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Excellent. The energy has stayed up. This is good. This is good. This week, tonight, I'm going to speak a little bit about repeating the motto from last week that I'm bringing to all of you, and speaking about sleep and dreams and the Torah portion, and, of course, my wishes for all of us this Shabbat. So, last week, inspired by the Torah portion and just thinking about how Torah can be a guide for all of us all the time. Sometimes it is our job to find ways to bring it to the present to find ways to modernize it and make it resonate for us today, there's always something in Torah that we can take with us, that we can look to. And so, using the accent from the Northeast that shall remain nameless, I would like to present you with, or remind you of, this version of this motto: to choose our Torah as your North Star, where star rhymes with Torah because, you know, the Northeast is an interesting place. So, choose our Torah as your North Star, and may it be a guide to you. And I'm bringing that again this week because in the Torah, we, this week, learn a lot about Joseph and the continuing story of the descendants of Jacob, and how we get settled into the land of Egypt. It's the beginning of that part of the drama. And from this story with the sleep and Joseph interpreting dreams, there are things that we can bring to our lives today, which I'll get to shortly. But one of the things that's sort of a base level, groundwork level, is also from the Torah, that we are created in the divine image, in B'Tselem Elohim. And I've spoken about this from the Bima before, about how thinking about those, all of us, being created B'Tselem Elohim, all people being created in the divine image, signifies that all of us, that everyone contains a divine spark, that everyone has something of the holy within them. And therefore, we have to look to people and try to find that spark, treat people with respect, treat them as they are created in the divine image. And so, I'd like to talk about another aspect of B'Tselem Elohim, about looking to ourselves and reminding us that we ourselves are created in the divine image, and therefore our need to treat ourselves with respect, mentally and physically. And so it can be hard to do in the world that we're in today because, well, in many ways, but in one way because the news and how everything can be so stressful that watching the news can keep us up at night, can lose sleep over everything going on in the world. And so I spoke with Dr. Joseph Cranen, one of our congregants who specializes in sleep medicine, in sleep. And some of the things below are paraphrases of what I learned from our conversation. And he said that when someone is chronically sleep deprived, there are neuropsychological and physiological consequences. Sleep affects our behavior, and it can affect our health. So some neuropsychological effects of chronically missing sleep are to be disinhibited in what we say. We can say things that we'll later regret, things that we wouldn't have said under normal circumstances. There can be feelings of being manic. Lack of sleep can mess with our memory and retention, can mess with cognition, and can also make one feel down. So there's mania and there's depression connected with lack of sleep. Also physiological consequences. There's blood sugar can go up. People can put on weight. It can be contributor to type 2 diabetes and increased risk for cardiovascular disease. So all of these things that we realize, medicine has told us are consequences of not getting enough sleep. That when we do sleep, which is important, and an important thing to think about how we have to cement this time for ourselves, to keep this time for ourselves, to guard our sleep, so to speak. When we do, sometimes we dream. And in this Torah portion, Pharaoh dreams 2 dreams that are actually one. And no one can interpret these dreams for Pharaoh satisfactorily. And so, looking for people to interpret his dreams and no one being able to interpret them for him, the cupbearer who Joseph interpreted the dream for last week, 2 years later, when this is finally happening, remembers that Joseph interpreted this dream for him successfully and tells Pharaoh of Joseph, and Pharaoh brings Joseph out of prison and tells Joseph his dreams. So the 2 dreams that Pharaoh had, which were actually one dream repeated, they foretell the same thing. In the first dream, 7 fat cows come out of the Nile, and they're grazing by the Nile. And then 7 thin cows come out of the Nile, cows that look like they're starving. And these second 7 cows eat the first 7 cows and still look emaciated after they've eaten these 7 huge cows. In the next part of the dream, 7 ears of corn are growing on a stalk. And then, following those 7 ears of corn that look healthy and full, there are 7 sickly ears of corn that come onto the stalk, that sprout out of the stalk. And then those 7 ears of corn, the sickly ones, eat the 7 healthy ears of corn. And Pharaoh asks Joseph, what does this mean? And Joseph explains that the 7 initial healthy cows and healthy-looking ears of corn signify 7 years of plenty, starting in Egypt, starting immediately, 7 years of good harvest. And the sickly cows and corn that eat the ones before signify a following 7 years of famine. Joseph correctly interprets these dreams, giving credit to God. And where Pharaoh's dreams, they did come true, Joseph interpreted them, and they turn to reality. They become real. Where did Pharaoh's dreams come from? And how did Joseph interpret them correctly? In modern science, no one knows where dream content comes from for sure, but there are a lot of theories. And one of them is that the circuits that we use a lot during the day, if somebody's studying for a test and they're studying a lot about this one test, be it psychology or sermon writing, whatever the term is, whatever the test is that they're studying for, if they study for it very intensely that day, they're more likely to dream about that subject at night. And if that subject, the neurons in the brain about test studying, whether it's whatever subject it is, math, let's say, if the math neurons are located right next to cat neurons, one's pet cat happens to be situated in the same part of the brain, coincidentally, then in that dream about taking the math test, a cat might jump on the exam. So the brain creates things together. And so in modern psychology, one interpretation is that even if we have a dream that makes no sense, our brain, we as people, strive to make meaning out of what there is in our dreams. And so Joseph's ability to interpret dreams, the Torah says he has this ability granted by God. And in modern psychology, one might think that Joseph was just very perceptive. We reflect back in interpreting dreams our own subconscious. Dreams can be like a Rorschach ink blot test, meaningless looking at a big ink blot until we look at it and we ascribe meaning to the ink. And how we ascribe meaning says something about us. So thinking about things from a psychological perspective, one could say that Joseph was Freud before there was Freud. Joseph was the first psychoanalyst. There are many theories about sleep and dreaming, and whatever our theory is, whatever theory that we hold to be true, it's possible to also hold faith and read this story that God did grant Joseph the ability to interpret Pharaoh's dreams. So holding both, or hanging on to one or the other more strongly, we can all appreciate that this story, it sets the stage for our people moving down to Egypt in future Torah portions. And it is this time in Egypt that defines us as a people, defines how we treat each other, defines how we treat the stranger, for we were strangers in the land of Egypt. Our people's modus operandi, our people's MO, respect the stranger, for we were strangers in the land of Egypt. And the stranger is also created B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. The Torah is our playbook, so please remember to use our Torah as your North Star. And this Shabbat, I wish you rest and relaxation and a good night's sleep. Shabbat Shalom. And now let us turn to page 586, 586 for the Aleinu. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mi משפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגוהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו. וידעת היום והשבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24, and each moment, and then in the faces of the men and women I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and every one is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoever I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. Our thoughts turn to those whom we have lost. The congregation is thinking of those whom we have lost within the last year. Clara Ostfeld, Lionel Gleckenhaus, Lawrence Merrill Saxon, Anna Logston, Rayla Montagna, Roberto Ruiz, Shelley Fishman, Michael Cherep, Zenobia Neustadt, Benjamin Fishman, Leonard Smolin, Marilyn Goodman, Uriel Botzabel Ben Hinda, Erica Pearl, Anita Perlman, and Ellie Reamer. And we're thinking of those whom we've lost at this time in years past. Jacqueline Chait, Raymond Chait, Clifford Crowder, Bess Gampsey, Letha Gibson, Hyman Gorsetman, Herman Hirsch, Donald Hurwitz, Dora Hyman, Virginia Katz-Morris, Rebecca Mogilevsky, Herman Nelson, Carrie Oppenheimer, Celia Raskin, Maurice Rose, Leona Saltz, Sylvia Shaknovsky, Francis Simon, Richard Smiley, Louis A. Stein, Louis Lukey Stein, Barbara Strausman, Benjamin Weisbard, and Richard Wilson. If there's anyone else here who's holding in their hearts a name of someone that they are thinking of that they have lost, that you would like to share with the community, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. We hold all of their names together as a community. I invite you to turn to page 598, 598, to rise in body or spirit for the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach irutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei decho Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitomam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace on high bring comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. Let's turn to page 626, 626 for Ein Kelohenu. And now I'd like us to turn to page 678, 678, and keeping in mind all those in Israel whom we have lost, and all those in Israel who are in need of healing, and the state of Israel together, I invite us to rise in body or spirit for Hatikva, Israel's national anthem.
Kol od belevav pnima, nefesh Yehudi homia, ufatei mizrach kadima, ayin letzion Sophia. Od lo avda tikvateinu, hatikva bat shnot alpayim, liotam chofshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim, liotam chofshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim.
And now please remain standing in body or spirit as we turn back to page 603, 603 for the priestly benediction.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Kain Yehi Ratzon. May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yihuneka.
Kain Yehi Ratzon. May God's light shine upon you and may God be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yaseim lecha shalom. Shalom, shalom.
Kain Yehi Ratzon. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.